Welcome back, everyone, to our post-game show. Lisa Matthews, Kyle Odegard here with you, taking it through this big win in the Big Apple in dominant fashion. Kyle, exactly what the Cardinals needed to do here today.
Talking about it a lot, and we saw flashes of it the first two games, but I think that was the best performance the Cardinals have shown from start to finish, offense and defense. I thought everything really came together in this game.
The offense was unleashed. Let's take a look at how things played out here in this 30-10 win over the Jets. First quarter for the Cardinals, still scoreless, but Kyler Murray doing Kyler Murray things, keeps it for a 16-yard run here, and we saw a lot of that for Kyler Murray today, just taking things over with his feet. And then, but Chase Edmonds here thrives at MetLife. As we know, he found the hole and took it to the house. Cards up 7-0.
Yeah, and the defense did a really nice job in this game in short yardage situations. 3rd and 1 for the Jets near the goal line. And first, it's Budda Baker with a fantastic stop. Jets go for it on 4th down, and Deandre Campbell comes up with the big tackle. So great job by the defense in situational football.
It's 3rd down here, and Andy Isabella with the huge catch for the first down, 24 yards. And then we have Murray, who finishes it off with a quarterback keeper to make the score 14-3. This is his 5th rushing touchdown in 2020.
Great job with his legs, showed off with his arm today. Just a really, really impressive game from Kyler Murray. You look defensively, Dennis Gardek got into the game because of a Chandler Jones injury, and all he does is perform, I guess. Great job by Dennis Gardek. 1 of 2 sacks on the day for him.
Yes, love to see it. I want to see that sack dance, too. We're going to have to get that queued up a little later.
That's going to be a meme. And then you look at Kyler Murray finding Chase Edmonds. The Cardinals felt like they could get some points before the half, and Chase Edmonds with the big catch to set up Zane Gonzalez, 47-yard field goal. Nice first half by the Cardinals, went into intermission up 17-3.
Yes, 17-3 at the half here in the 3rd quarter now. Another 3rd and 1 situation, but Jordan Hicks tracks it down perfectly with a little help. Good to see some tackling here today. The Jets now showing some fight, making it a 1-possession game, 17-10 with this Crowder 11-yard touchdown. He sneaks it in there.
Yeah, the one time it felt like the Jets were going to make a game of it, and the Cardinals had a 4th and 1. Cliff Kingsbury decides to roll the dice and go for it from his own 39. Doesn't even run the ball. Calls play action. Great call. Darrell Daniels, 31-yard gain. And that series ended up in a touchdown with Kenyon Drake, 1-yard run. That, to me, was the decisive drive of the game, to not let the Jets creep any closer.
And that's when he says, see, guys, it works. 4th and 1, I'm going to call it every time.
Keep calling it.
4th quarter, welcome back, Budda Baker. He sniffs this out perfectly with this wide receiver pass here. Technically getting the sack here to add on to his stats for today. It was a negative play, 16 yards, tackle for loss. And then, quiet day it seemed like for Hopkins at first. Nope, he shows up big time here with this beautiful catch. Beautiful throw by Murray here on the money for 45 yards. And now he's just showing off with the 50-50 ball. A 37-yard touchdown that caps it off here, making it 30-10. Cardinals getting the big win in the Big Apple. Fitz giving some love. Everyone got a little love here today.
That might be a pretty big, nice combo moving forward. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Might see a few more of those.
We can hope so. But I'm saying Fitz got some love. Kirk. We were going to go run through all the guys. It just really seemed like a balanced offense, both in the run game and the pass game.
Yeah, really for the first time all season, it felt like everything was working. Like you said, Chase Edmonds, I thought, had a really nice game. Christian Kirk had his best game of the season. You knew DeAndre Hopkins was going to do it, but the fact that Kyler Murray had so many weapons was a really big deal, and he certainly spread the ball out, and I just thought the offense was clicking on all cylinders today.
Yes, definitely unleashed. Let's take a look here at the overall stats against the Jets. 496 total yards, 127 rushing.
Yeah, I think the total yardage is just indicative of what the Cardinals were able to do offensively in both the running and the passing. And I thought that Kyler Murray did a really nice job in the pocket. The Jets wanted to force him to stay in there. They didn't blitz much. They wanted him to throw, and he did so. And he showed that I have the ability to play from the pocket and be that traditional passer. But then if you turn your eyes and don't watch me, I can also scoot out and run for 15, 16 yards.
Yeah, definitely less of that horizontal game that we've been harping on all week. Let's hear from Cliff Kingsbury, who really made some adjustments here in this Jets win.
I thought as a group we played harder. Still not the rhythm with which we want to play. A lot of penalties that kind of moved us backwards and put us in some second and long, first and long situations that we didn't overcome. But I felt like he was poised and progressing through his reads, and those guys made some really nice plays for him on the perimeter.
Cliff, could you give us any kind of injury update on Chandler plus the offensive lineman and Richard Lawrence?
Yeah, Chandler looks like a bicep, so if that's confirmed, then that would probably be season-ending injury. Sweezy, we'll see there. Not sure exactly the extent of that. And Richard, I think, just got rolled up on that ankle a little bit, and I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, Cliff, how important was the juice that Chase was able to give you today? And I know it seems like we ask you this maybe multiple times a week about one player or another. Do you have to find a way to get him the ball more?
No question. He's a dynamic player and great in the passing game, can run it. Fun to watch every day in practice. His work ethic, whether it's special teams or offense, he's got real juice, like you said, and we got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. There's a lot of playmakers, and he's one that can make things happen.
Next up, we'll go Josh Tressa Sierra.
Hey, Cliff. What was the difference with Kyler today? He goes from 133 yards last week to a career-high 380 today. What was the difference with him?
Yeah, we just hit some throws we didn't hit the week before. I don't think we ever got into a rhythm. Like I said, I did a poor job of getting us started with play calls, and then we never got into a rhythm, and it was real disjointed, and we didn't hit the shots that we did take down the field, and we hit them today. And I thought guys were aggressive in the way they played on the perimeter and made some of those screens work, and so it was just a better overall effort.
All right, we'll come back to Tressa. We'll take Sierra, Cheerston, and Catherine as the next three.
Hi, Cliff. How did it feel to just get the overall win, snap a two-game losing streak, and then do it in a dominant fashion?
It was obviously anytime you go on the road and can handle your business, that's what we wanted to do. A lot to clean up, but I thought we played with a lot more energy, a lot more intensity throughout the week as well, and came in here with the right mindset and were able to get it done. Can have to continue to get better and continue to build, but the guys were focused all week, and so that was a big step in the right direction.
So much good to highlight in this game, Kyle, but the unfortunate news with Chandler Jones, he could be out the rest of the season depending on the severity of the injury.
Yeah, and as quickly as they ruled him out, and there was a clip of him on the sideline in pretty big pain, you worried about that being the scenario. And if it's confirmed and you lose Chandler Jones for the season, obviously that's a huge blow. Number 2 in Defensive Player of the Year voting last season in the entire NFL. So the Cardinals are going to have to figure out a way to press forward without one of their biggest stars, and that's a tough way to do it. I mean, if Dennis Gardek can keep getting the sacks, maybe he gets more playing time because of this performance, but the Cardinals certainly have to figure something out at this point to keep that edge rush consistent without their best sack artist.
Yeah, definitely nice to see Gardeck step up there. 2-sack game for him, and sources are telling me he might have received the game ball, so we'll see on that. Let's go over to our FedEx air-to-ground comparison, quarterback comparison, and how the two fared. Kyler Murray, what an explosive game he had here today.
Fantastic numbers for Kyler Murray. I mean, 80 yards passing on 37 attempts. That's 10.3 yards per attempt. Last week, he was at 4.3 yards per attempt. So a huge turnaround for him. And like I mentioned, the fact that Kyler Murray was able to sit in the pocket and throw the ball downfield, I think that was big for his development. If he can do that, obviously we know what he can do with his legs as well. So he was really a dynamic player today.
Yeah, K1 continually making NFL history with 5+ passing touchdowns and 5+ rushing touchdowns in the first 5 games of the season.
I think this game was his most complete game. I thought the job he did throwing the ball was good, and I thought he was decisive. When there was a lane, he took it running the ball, and just a very good mixture by him and a lot of good decision-making.
Murray, Edmonds, Drake, all 3 with rushing touchdowns here today. So they really were able to balance things out. Only 127 yards rushing, like we said, but they had the RPO option there, which kind of kept the Jets off balance.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray did a great job. Like you said, if they're playing the run, he's able to pull it and throw those slants. I saw a couple to Christian Kirk and DeAndre Hopkins. It seemed like no matter what the Jets tried to do today, the Cardinals had an answer for it.
All right, well, my power performer of the game, Dennis Gardeck, he's here at the podium to discuss his big game here in this win.
Yeah, first defensive snaps of my career. I was pretty nervous out there. I was just letting them know, hey, I'm just a special teamer. Take it easy. But I just have fun out there and try to do what I do every day in practice, which is play hard.
Dennis, what were your thoughts about how the defense played early on when it was a close game and you kept them out of the end zone? And how worried are you about Chandler's injury?
I'm sorry, it's hard to hear you.
What were your thoughts about how the defense kept the Jets out of the red zone when it was a close game? And what are your thoughts about Chandler Jones's biceps injury?
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with Chandler yet. My prayers are with him. I hope that he's good. He's been a great mentor for me these past 3 years, so I want nothing but the best for him.
Hey, Dennis, congrats on the game, buddy. Just curious, I think the camera caught you after one of your sacks. You were smiling, maybe trying to hide it a little bit. Did you notice that? Were you trying to keep your emotions in check? And also, can you explain to me your celebration?
Yeah, so I'm an emotional guy, so I let him run. There's no controlling him. So when I was out there first, I was really nervous, and I was trying to laugh and joke about it. So then when I was excited, I just let myself be excited. The one with the arms out spinning around, we call that turning the corner, which is what you do as a pass rusher, and it's just you spin around on one foot. It's easy for somebody that doesn't have much rhythm. So that's kind of my go-to, called turning the corner.
All right, we will wrap it up with Catherine.
Turning the
Sure.
corner, just like the Cardinals. Turning the corner in this win. Gardeck, let's spend some time talking about him, because for him to make that transition, he was inside linebacker, moved to the outside this season, and the way that he was able to just step into, mind you, Chandler Jones's role off the edge, pretty impressive.
Yeah, the fact that Dennis Gardeck was an inside linebacker because they thought he was too small to play on the outside, even though he was a pretty good pass rusher in college. He is just a smaller guy, so you don't think that that's going to happen. But he did a great job on the outside. He used a bull rush on one of his sacks. He was able to use his speed on another one, showing a complete arsenal of moves, and just a really impressive story. A guy that was undrafted, Pro Bowl special teamer, but as he said, never had a role on defense, and now he gets thrust into that game and did an incredible job.
He does need to think of a new sack dance, though. I'm going to have to talk to him
I don't know.
about
The
that.
internet loves it.
Turn in the corner. Can you do it for me? No?
No.
All right.
Leave it to
Let's head
Dennis.
inside the victory locker room here with the game ball presentation. Like I said, sources tell me, Dennis Gardeck.
2 sacks a day, Dennis Gardek.
No speech for him. They're chanting Rudy, though.
That's such a cool moment.
He doesn't say a lot. I've interviewed him a couple of times. He's not really boastful, as you can tell. He comes from humble beginnings, and what I love about him, though, is that he gives it 100% every play. He has that long hair. He loves Pat Tillman, and
Yeah.
he really bottles his play after him.
And the motor is evident. I mean, it does give you Pat Tillman vibes when you see him going so hard on every play. He's obviously not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, but he tries so hard. And on that second sack, it was pure perseverance to get to the quarterback, and a nice job by Dennis Gardeck.
So my MVP of today's game, but it is time to pick the official SRP power performer in this victory. Again, 30-10 victory over the Jets. And we're going to have to go with D-Hop.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, kind of a quiet start, but just those 2 catches on the final drive to really ice this game, unbelievable. The first one to keep his feet in bounds, and that touchdown catch. I mean, the fact that he could haul it in with one hand, and then he gets knocked by a safety running full speed. He's able to hold on to the pass. Just unbelievable hand-eye coordination. talent, just a guy that the Cardinals were missing a superstar on offense last season, and now they have it.
And the fact that you said it was a kind of a quiet performance, just kind of waiting to see again when he would be unleashed, and then he comes out with those 2 big plays towards the ends to really nail it in for the Cardinals.
And he ends up with 6 catches for 131 yards and a touchdown after a quote-unquote quiet day. So
Hey.
very impressive.
It was nice to see, too. Kurt gets some love here today, 4 for 78, but Hopkins, 6 for 131 yards and that touchdown.
And the 21.8 yards per reception stands out to me because he had a lot of catches in the first 4 games, but not of a bunch of explosive plays. So unlocking this part of his game, I think, is important because now teams feel like we have to go over the top and make sure DeAndre Hopkins doesn't beat us. And if they don't, we've seen the chemistry continues to build between Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Now, if he sees him single covered, he's throwing it. If he sees him double covered, he might throw it anyways.
Definitely. Now let's talk about this ground game. We talked a lot about the air game here today. This ground game, only 127 yards rushing. Jets 123. So this run defense still needs to figure some things out here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit leaky in the first half, but on the short yardage situations, the 3rd and 1s, the 4th and 1s, I thought they did a really nice job, and that's the most important spot. So I think overall a pretty decent job defensively against the run, and even though the numbers don't look great for the Cardinals, there were some kneel downs late, some just kind of getting some yards while the game was winding down. When it mattered, the Cardinals were efficient on the ground, especially Chase Edmonds with that huge 29-yard touchdown run early to really give the Cardinals the lead and have that fast start after falling into such a hole last week.
Impressive to me, 3 rushing touchdowns here today. Let's head up to the booth with the guys who had today's call. Got to call a victory here against the Jets, 30-10. I'm going to pose this first question to you, Mr. Pash. Don't worry, it's not a debate here. Cardinals got the convincing win over the Jets, but this offense truly exploded. What was the most impressive thing to you watching Kyler Murray today in action?
Well, it's definitely not a debate because the debate's over. I won it pregame. There's also no debate about Kyler Murray. This guy's outstanding. You knew it was coming. There's just too many weapons on this offense. There was an explosion waiting to happen. Their defensive numbers were actually better than their offensive numbers coming into this game. So it was a matter of time. It just happened to be against the bad Jet defense. They've got a chance to do it again against the bad Cowboy defense. But I thought getting a little simpler, a little bit less predictable. You didn't see really any wide receiver screens. Vertical passing game was going, and they ran the ball successfully. 3 different guys with a rushing touchdown, including Kyler Murray. So I thought the Cardinals, even though it's against a Jet defense that isn't great, this is something you can really build on because all around it was productive. I think the offensive line has to feel pretty good about the way they played too, given that Kyler had a career high in passing.
Yeah, and Wolf, keeping our eyes on the offense, what did you think of Chase Edmonds today, and what about his progress overall? Does it feel like he's a guy that's just going to continue to force his way into more and more playing time?
I without question, Kyle, I think this is something we're going to continue to see, the development of Chase Edmonds. It's not just the physicality. It's not just what he brings in a physical sense. It's also the fact that this guy is like having another coach out on the field. He is so well-versed in protections and the schemes, of course, that are being run out there. He's a guy you can go to and ask, hey, what do I do on this play? He's like having another coach out on the field. At least I'm told that. And just running the ball overall, I would say, was a huge difference here today. I love the fact that later on, Kenyon Drake, the more carries he got, the more Kenyon Drake-like he became, running the ball in a north-south kind of way. I think earlier in the game we saw him, and he was still making a lot of east-west cuts. I like the fact that as the game went along and the more carries he got, the more north-south he was stoking it. And I think sometimes, guys, you got to run into the pile if you want to take big shots down the field. And guess what? I don't think it's any coincidence that the Cardinals running into the pile led to taking some shots down the field.
Continuing on the physicality of today's game. Defensively, it's obviously no good news. Chandler Jones going down in this, but a lot of guys seem to step up and fly around towards the ball, something, Wolf, that you talked a lot about leading into this game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the energy level overall, guys. Were you not watching that first quarter like, okay, first couple of snaps, how are they going to do? Are they going to come off the ball? Are they going to have a dark heart and a painted face? And are they going to – where's the gap integrity going to be, right? I mean, we were all focused, laser beam focused on how they were going to come out. And I thought in all three phases, man, offensively, defensively, and with special teams – they came out and they were ready to play. That was job one, and that you can check that box because the Cardinals actually came out and they were focused.
Two-parter for you, Dave. It sounds like Chandler Jones, it's likely a season-ending injury. How much does that hurt the defense? And on the flip side, it seemed like Patrick Peterson stepped up today, played better. How important is he going to be knowing that you probably just lost one of your other defensive stars?
Let's start with Pat P. Kyle. I thought he played very well today. The call against him for defensive holding was awful. So I thought he played a really good game. And, you know, he got called out last couple weeks. So the fact that, you know, you had the coaches getting after him on the sideline a couple weeks ago, and then Steve Keim saying, hey, our stars aren't playing like stars. I mean, everybody knew who he was talking about. So the fact that Pat P played the way he did today is a really good sign. You can't replace Chandler Jones. You just can't. This guy's one of the best pass rushers in the league. He's been that way for the last 5 years. He's probably the most underrated pass rusher, maybe the most underrated defensive player in football. So what do? Vance Joseph's going to have to get creative. Maybe we see more blitzing. Dennis Gardek had 2 sacks. I don't know if you can continue to ask that. You know, Hassan Reddick, maybe we see a lot more of him. But the Cardinals are going to – I think Vance Joseph, this is going to be really challenging for him because there's no excuses. You just got to find a way to get it done and get creative to try to make up for losing one of the best players in the game.
Well, we were able to see a lot of that last season when so many defensive players went down. Isaiah Simmons, someone that you can expect to step up hopefully in these coming weeks. Guys, I'm going to ask you, this is a long week coming up before this Monday night showdown against the Cowboys. Wolf, Pash, give me your take. What needs to be cleaned up before this matchup?
I think you just need to continue to get off the field on third down. The Cardinals got back to their get off the field on third down ways here today. I think that's going to be critical going forward. We all know the Dallas Cowboys, the one thing Dak Prescott has been doing is throwing the ball and doing it very, very well. The Cardinals have got to get better defensively. They've got to continue to shore up their secondary a little bit, get a little bit more healthy going forward, of course, get their communication better in the back end, but they got to get more and more buttoned up in the back end. We saw a couple of big plays here today. They can't allow that against the Dallas Cowboys. So I'd say start there.
I'll go with the offense, guys. I think it took last year the Cardinals some time to find their identity offensively and who they were going to be. I think maybe you're starting to see the identity for the Cardinals here in 2020, and it's not far off from what you had last year. So I think it's continuing. I've always said this is a team in transition. You went from a 5-win team. You're trying to become a championship team. There's that year or two in transition trying to get to that level. Sometimes you reach your goal faster and there is no transition year. But I think you got to find yourself offensively, and maybe the Cardinals did that today.
All right, guys, thanks as always for your insight. We'll see you a week from Monday.
Sounds good.
All right, let's head over to the podium and hear from Budda Baker, who leads the team in tackles and got a sack here today.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the defense responded like a good defense should. You know, early turnover, I believe, and got the ball in the red zone and was able to make a 4th down stop. And also another one was able to get a field goal. So defense, you know, definitely had some of the plays that we let go, but for the most part, did a good job.
Budda, how did your hand feel today, and what adjustments did you have to make, if any, for the cast?
Yeah, I mean, thumb felt great. You know, I was in the cast, so I didn't really feel it. So adjustments really just not much, actually, because I didn't really get a lot of ball opportunities. So it's kind of an adjustment when the ball comes. But other than that, you know, I'm able to use my shoulders more, and you know, it was good. It was fun. It was just fun to be back on the field with the teammates and come out here and get a W.
Hey, Budda, obviously you guys were already down DK and then you lose Chandler. What did you see from the guys who replaced them at outside linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the standard is the standard. Whoever's out, it's always, if you're on the field, you're a starter, and you should be playing how a starter should play. So, you know, like you said, Dennis came in there and he just played hard. He played well, got 2 sacks, and now he's going to be on the scouting report. So it was definitely exciting to see guys come in and step in and play good. And, you know, with Chandler Jones, that's a big loss. He's a great player for our team, one of the best defense pass rushers in the league, if not the best. And we're definitely going to miss him, but we got to, you know, like I said, the standard is the standard.
Next up, Craig Tressa Kent.
Hey, Buddha, congrats on the win, man. That was a nice big win. Tell us about that end-around reverse pass they were trying to throw that you got the tackle for a loss.
Yeah. So I was Vance Joseph called a great call, and it was a blitz to open side. So I was blitzing, and, you know, I kind of just didn't really feel right about it as I was blitzing, and I saw 16 coming around the corner, so gave him the ball, and luckily I was able to get a shoelace tackle on him and got a good tackle for loss. So it was definitely exciting to make a good play.
Hey, Buddha, congratulations on the win. Looking at the stats, you still led your team in tackles. Did it feel like you skipped a beat at all, or just how good did it really feel to be back out there? You wouldn't even know that you had thumb surgery.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels great to be back out. And, you know, I didn't know I was a leading tackler, but that's awesome. You know, they do a lot of quick games, so we were kind of we knew that we wanted to be on the body early and stop the run. So once we stopped the run, we knew it was going to be quick game and play action pass, and we were able to make plays as a defense and get the W.
Buddha leading the team in tackles with only 9 fingers.
And he's going to be really excited to know that he thought it was a tackle for a loss, but it's going to go down as a sack because they were going to throw that ball as a wide receiver pass. That's going to be a nice little recognition in the box score there.
Who was it? Rashad Johnson back in the day would say 9 more once he lost his finger in a game. You only need 9, I guess, to make tackles and make an impact on a game, and Buddha certainly does so. Let's take a look here at some out-of-town scores from around the league. Beginning with Big Red's next opponent, the Dallas Cowboys are home against the New York Giants here.
Cowboys, how'd they do?
I know it's always so hard to find. They're right there, 14-3.
Okay, so
they're down right now in the first. It's still early.
They're struggling a little bit this year, and I think that game could be a shootout with the way the Dallas defense is struggling a bit. The Cardinals seem to find their groove offensively, and Dak Prescott has been really impressive this season. It should be a good game next week in national television. Kyler Murray going back home. I know a lot of people are going to be excited for that one.
Wow, look at this. Raiders get the big win over the Chiefs, 40-32.
Oh, wow, that's a big upset. Probably one of the biggest upsets of the year. It just shows in the NFL that anything can happen week to week. And, you know, the Rams won 30-10 over Washington. The NFC West, nobody ever loses, it seems, in this division. So even though the Cardinals win, they obviously have to keep playing well because this division is going to be tough. And we'll see. I mean, there's talk, can all 4 teams make the playoffs from this division? That
would
really
definitely be something. And you see the Seahawks will be playing the Vikings later. But, yeah, that's why it made today's win so crucial. Why in Week 5 people were saying it was a must-win, a gut-check game. And the way that they performed here today certainly solidifies the fact that, hey, they're competitive. We saw this offense finally stream something together and just make a few adjustments, you know, just to be able to sustain this going forward against some of these tougher opponents.
Yeah, and like you said, it was a must-win because you needed to get to 3-2. But I agree with you where you're talking about how they performed in aggregate was very impressive. The fact that the offense moved the ball all day, the defense had a really nice bounce-back effort. It looks like this team is a lot better than they were a season ago. And before the game started, we had questions about that. Is the offense going to start clicking? Is the defense reverting back? But I think clearly the performance has met the talent now. And if the Cardinals can continue this, then all of a sudden you can get on a roll and really compete in the division.
Yeah, definitely good to talk about a win once again. The Cardinals get the win 30-10 over the Jets. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our exclusive coverage following this game all week long. We'll have wired pieces, sit-down pieces, and a piece like this, a victory speech from Cliff Kingsbury giving the game ball to Dennis Gardeck. We'll leave you with that here today. Enjoy the rest of the day.
2 sacks a day, Dennis Gardeck.
Appreciate y'all, boys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bring it back. All right, hey, big week coming up. Got an extra day to get better, work out some of the kinks. Let's shower, get out of here. Y'all get a break.
Yes, sir. Cars on 3. 1, 2, 3. Come on.